Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in the last video I kind of mocked everything up, but still running into some issues. So in this video I already did it, but I'll just put the clip in. But I gotta cut the bracket for the throttle cable, and I'm gonna fit it in. So we'll watch that clip now. So like you saw in the last video, this was in the way. I won't know until I cut this and fit it to see how it fits. So I'm gonna cut it right here, get rid of this for the cruise control, and hopefully it fits without modifying it or changing it other than just cutting it. So I got the bracket cut and we're gonna put it on. So I test fitted it before, so I already know what I'm gonna do, but if I put it where it needs to go, as you can see, it's in the way of the regulator. So I think if I use the second upper hole here and use the bottommost hole, threaded hole here, I can get it to work. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. So I did it the way I talked about, and of course I realized, hey, maybe I shouldn't have cut that and just did this idea the first time. And this looks like it's too freaking low. So the cable, you know, I can't tighten up the cable, otherwise I'll have the freaking throttle plate open. So I might have to extend this out, maybe put a washer or something, I don't know, and just see if I can get it to work. 'Cause I'm trying not to buy anything else, trying to put everything together the way I have it, and if I do need anything, I'll go get it. But for now, I'm just trying to make work with what I got. So I'll let you guys know what I end up trying to do. All right, well, this is the super ghetto freaking temporary fix I came up with. I just backed up the two nuts all the way against the bracket, angled the bracket towards it, and I hit the throttle about 20 whatever freaking times I did it, and it didn't come loose. So yeah, without spending any money, this worked. I don't recommend it. But you know what, I haven't even got the car started, so maybe in between this and all the other crap I got going on, I'll decide to put on a proper bracket. But in the meantime, that's my little ghetto fix. So I started it after I cut off the camera the last video, but I just want to show you what I did here. So I ran all the injector wires underneath here when I think it was above the upper neck. I don't even remember, to be honest. But all these wires are now down underneath the intake. All the injector wires have come up the middle here. Thankfully, these little, I don't know, extensions or whatever you want to call them, kind of helped. So it's somewhat clean. And then for the brake booster setup, I think I'm going to cap this. I might take it off and cap it, but I need to make sure everything works first. And I might run the PCV hose here, which, I mean, it's the same amount of vacuum as over there, and just run like a vacuum 90 here, and try to hide the booster hose a little bit better underneath. Will it work? I have no idea, but you know what? We're playing around with things. In this, I might just have vent to atmosphere, or now that I'm looking at it, I could probably just take this hose and have it point down, so you know, whatever freaking PCV oil vapor crap does come out, it'll just go hopefully down on the ground. Oh yeah, and over here I was messing around with the harness, trying to clean it up a bit. So this top dead center sensor, whatever the heck they call it, cam angle sensor, I don't know, on the K24 it points upward instead of like this. So I'm thinking when I go to the junkyard for the thermostat housing, I'll try to get a base RSX, since that's all they have, sensor, and it should point out like this, and then I'll be able to this one, I think it's this one, run this straight this way. That way I can hide all these wires down here. But then the other thing I'm thinking about is, if it's getting kind of close to the header, but I don't know, one thing at a time. I can't, you know, I don't know, I can't get all crazy with it because I need to figure out everything.
All right, guys, so I'm about to leave my house, go to the junkyard, and I'm looking for a CRV or an RSX water, thermostat housing, and a TDC sensor. There's plenty of CRVs and there's a few RSXs, and they just got some new Civics and crap, so I'll just check it out. But yeah, see how it goes.
P3SI. Pretty cool. I think I'm gonna take the housing off this. These seats are kind of cool. I don't know if they're OEM or not, but they look OEM. I don't know about this green, that's kind of cool, but that one didn't move, so I didn't even bother trying to take them. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna use. What's up, guys? So yesterday went to the junkyard, got some parts off that EP3. I wanted the seats, but the one bracket was totally messed up because it was in an accident, so I'm not too worried about it. The engine's there, it's an A3, so I don't want that. And the 5-speed I know is kind of good from the EP3s, but I was by myself, and plus I don't feel like getting another transmission. I really don't need. But I know it's there, so if I need it, then whatever. So here's what I ended up getting. A throttle cable bracket, which is exactly the same as the Type S. And this I just got just to make sure that, you know, this little ghetto setup that I'll show in a minute, if that doesn't work, then I'll try to have this modified somehow. I have the TDC or cam position sensor here, and the reason I got that is because it's at a 90 and the one that's on it faces straight up. I want to try to extend the harness, well, make the most of the harness without extending it, because I don't feel like cutting it. I would just leave it in one piece. And here I have the thermostat housing, and the reason I got that is because it faces downward, and the one I have on there from the TSX faces up. That way I could use that new silicone hose. I didn't get a gasket, but I think the one that's on it is new, so I'll just reuse that one. So let's do that right now. Before I forget, this is kind of how I have it set up right now, the throttle bracket. Honestly, I'm freaking hating it. It looks stupid and it works stupid, and it's really close to the regulator here, so for now it'll be, I don't know how temporary it's going to be, because you know, everything costs money. So I think in the future I'm going to relocate and get a new regulator mounted over here, but for now, at least as long as I know it works, it's going to stay like that. But I don't know, I'm not happy with it at all. Also, I should have probably did this thermostat housing when the RBC was off, because it makes life so much easier, but it's not a huge deal, so I'm just going to do that now. I'm probably going to disconnect the battery and then relocate some of these wires, like this one for the alternator, maybe reroute the hose for the fuel regulator, and find out if this harness will extend to the new sensor. But yeah, we'll get to that. All right, so the new hose is in. I had to trim it the top and the bottom just so I can not have such a hard angle over here. The thermostat housing's in. It's just 3 10mm bolts, and there's one on the back that's kind of tricky to get to, but you know, just line it up and that's as simple as it gets. So next thing I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna change this sensor out with the one I picked up from the yard, and just see how much slack I have with the wires and see if everything works out the way I want to. So I got the new sensor in. I rerouted the harness underneath here. It's a little tighter than I'd like, but I think it'll work, and if I need to, I'll extend it at a later time. But for now, I think it's gonna work. Now I gotta take the wire for the sensor for the inside of the car, put that over here to the new bypass, reroute the alternator wire, put this fuel line underneath the throttle cable or shifter cables, and do the brake booster hose. Oh man, that was kind of time consuming, but I wanted to make sure I got everything the way I wanted it. So the alternator wire that we did, I ran along the harness that we kind of moved up against the brake lines and up under another brake line and over here. So just, you know, the mess has been moved from this area to like kind of generalized in this area. And then I put this like wire tie, zip tie thing, with like a little click-in mount thing. I put it in here where there's like a threaded hole, and just had the throttle cable mounted nice. Then the temperature gauge wire, kind of ran it the way it was, but up against the rest of everything, all the harness and crap. So that's over here, and it's like taped up because I have no better way of doing it. And the booster, I came down under brake lines, through here, up against the transmission, underneath the intake manifold, and then to where the PCV was, to this little 90. It's a 90 3/8, and then another 90 vacuum hose, and that's kind of tucked underneath here. Try to clean it up the best I can. And this I'll just leave like that, vented to the atmosphere. I'm not worried about it. So to wrap up everything, we did the lower hose, the thermostat housing. We did a little tuck with the oh yeah, fuel line. Didn't mention that, but we did move the fuel line so it's underneath everything. Throttle cable, temperature probe thing, and the alternator wire, which is now kind of hidden. I mean, it's the best I could probably come up with using the stock harness, and without, like, I don't know, going real crazy with a tuck. You know, I don't know, cutting wires and soldering stuff. So I think what I'm gonna do next video, because I'm gonna wrap it up here, is I'm gonna put an intake together. I'm gonna make one myself, then upload a tune. Oh yeah, put coolant in it, check for leaks and everything, and then just see how it goes from there. And then probably the following video, I'm gonna do the the fuel pump, and get that all wrapped up. So that's probably gonna end up the video for today. Got more to do and some fixes like this I don't like, but see how it works for now. So hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't know how long it's gonna be until I edit it, but hope you guys like the progress of the car. Like, comment, subscribe. Check me out on Instagram, EG Chris92. Later.